let's talk about the Pfizer vaccine, the safety data and the efficacy data. That and more of your questions ahead on this episode of Shareable Science Beyond the Blog.
Welcome to Shareable Science. Science you can share.
So there's a lot of information on this board, but it's worth looking at because it gives us some important insights to how we might respond to the vaccine from Pfizer. This information comes from the FDA website. I would encourage you to go and look at this. It includes information that the vaccine maker, Pfizer, has put out, as well as an analysis of that data from FDA scientific teams. And you'll see this for each of the vaccine candidates as they each come up for FDA review. But first, mRNA vaccines. The Pfizer vaccine is an mRNA vaccine. The Moderna vaccine is an mRNA vaccine. It's a slightly different approach to creating a vaccine that uses a small fragment of mRNA to provide instructions for your cells to make a piece of one of the proteins that's found in the SARS-CoV-2 virus. A question I'm getting a lot is, will the mRNA vaccine change my DNA? The answer is no. The mRNA does not go into your nucleus where your DNA is stored. There's no interaction between the mRNA and the DNA. It doesn't interact with or change your DNA. You do not become a genetically modified organism from taking an mRNA vaccine. Are there side effects of the vaccine? The answer to that question is yes, and let's talk about the types of side effects. They generally break down whenever the FDA is reviewing any kind of drug. You're looking at mild or moderate side effects, and then you're looking at more severe adverse side effects. So this is the data again from Pfizer, and you can see we've got a broad set of mild or moderate effects that are quite common among a significant portion of the people that got the vaccine. Here's the take-home point. You won't feel so hot the day after you get the vaccine or later that afternoon or evening. Let me say that differently. You might not feel so hot. Some people have no response whatsoever. Other people, their body hurt. They had chills. They even had fevers, and some of those fevers were high fevers. They were short term. They lasted about 12 to 16 hours. You're not going to feel good. You may not feel good. You might want to have some Tylenol or some ibuprofen on hand. And generally, the second dose of the vaccine, because this is a 2-dose vaccine, the second dose, more people had side effects than they did with the first dose. So you just want to be aware of that. I'm not telling you that you should be frightened of that. You just need to know and expect that. And if you have something that feels strange, then you need to talk with your doctor and make sure that everything is all right. So those are mild or moderate ones, inconveniences, discomfort. There were not a significant number, there were not actually any serious side effects where there was a difference in the frequency between the individuals that got the vaccine and the individuals that didn't. There was some swelling of lymph nodes, there was some temporary weakness of some facial muscles, but again, they occurred at a frequency that was not different than what you would expect if you were looking at a population of 20,000 individuals. You might expect to see those frequencies anyway. We'll know more as more people get enrolled and as we continue to follow that. But there were no red flags for serious side effects. Now, let's talk about deaths. There were 6 deaths in this whole population. So if you read, there were deaths in individuals that got the vaccine, that's true, there were 2. There were 4 deaths among the individuals that got the placebo. Whenever you look at tens of thousands of people and you follow them for an extended period of time, you're going to expect to see some people die of other things. Heart attack, clogged arteries, stroke. So those were many of the things that they were looking at. Nothing that the researchers tied directly back to getting the vaccine. And again, as I said, there were actually more deaths in the placebo case. Now, what this doesn't tell us is rare side effects. This information tells us about common side effects. That's what phase 3 clinical trials are for. But any vaccine, any drug that goes through the approval process may carry with it really rare side effects that affect like maybe 1 in a million people or 1 in 500,000. You're not going to pick that up in a phase 3 trial. You're going to pick that up as you start rolling out the medication. That's a part of the risk that we make decisions about when we decide if we're going to take a new medicine or if we're going to have a vaccine. So it's not, again, not something to be frightened of, but something to think about. And we don't have long-term data. The individuals in this study were followed for a matter of weeks, in some cases a few months. Generally, if there are challenges with vaccines, they appear early on, not months and months later. But again, it's a part of the decision-making process. It's a part of weighing out the risk versus the benefits of any medicine, not just a vaccine. Okay, last question. How did the vaccine protect different age groups, genders, races, ethnicities, different other categories? So again, lots of data here. I'm showing you from the 37,000 people that were in this phase 3 clinical trial. I'm showing you their gender breakdown, their racial and ethnic breakdown, age, and then their BMI, their body mass index, their weight. Those were all things that are important as you look to see if the vaccine provides protection across all of these different classes equally. In general, you can imagine that the people that got the number of people that got the vaccine and the number of people that got the placebo, it's a roughly equal group. So for example, when you see 49.4% female in the population, that means that also about 49% of females were in the vaccine group, and about 49% of females made up the placebo group as well. So these are not different, drastically different than what you would expect to find in our population. We've got a little less racial diversity. There's a slightly higher percentage of whites in this than you would see if you looked at the racial makeup of the United States. But again, it is a good, diverse group of individuals. And importantly, when you look at the effectiveness of the vaccine across all these categories, you see very high effectiveness in that 95% efficacy range. So this vaccine in the group that was studied was effective at preventing serious illness from COVID-19 across all these different groups. That's a big deal. That gives you confidence that this vaccine has benefit across the broader United States population. All right, that's a lot of content that we've just covered on this whiteboard. And again, I would encourage you to go to the FDA website and dig deeper if you'd like. If you know people who have questions about this data, please send them this video. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Shareable Science Beyond the Blog. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.